Hello and welcome to MetalCast. This is your video podcast from Metal Coffee Shop, and my name is Heidi Ellsworth. So excited to be here today. We are bringing you everything about metal. This is what it's all about. Like, how can contractors do more metal, make more with metal, but also what is happening out there? What are some of the trends? So today I have brought the expert in sales to MetalCast to talk about those trends. So I want to welcome Dominic Caminata. I am so excited to have you here. Grosso University, the leader in sales, and you are getting right into metal. It's so much fun. Welcome to MetalCast.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on your show. And definitely appreciate the introduction there. And yeah, this has been definitely an incredible journey that we've been on here with this whole MetalVue program. And, you know, we've had many conversations about this, but it's just such an honor and privilege to be of value to this entire amazing network. And of course, all the participating manufacturers, and of course, Sherwin-Williams. And I couldn't be more proud. I mean, this is definitely one of the more exciting ventures and journeys that Grosso University has ever been a part of. So just honored to bring value to those of you watching, and of course, the people that have already become a part of this amazing opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad to have you here. I'm so excited because I love sales. And of course, we love roofing and the Metal Construction Association. So, but before we get there, let's start with, can you do a full introduction of you and tell everybody about Grosso?
Yeah, so my name is Dominic Caminata. I am the owner and founder of Grosso University. Those of you that don't know my background, I first got into the home improvement industry in 2010. So it doesn't seem like that long ago, but about 13 years ago. And I really cut my teeth in the industry selling replacement windows, following a step selling sales methodology. And it just so happens the step selling system that I entered the industry learning was the Grosso 10-step sales process. So my mentor when I first got into the business was Rick Grosso.
Right.
And he's definitely an industry legend. He always said his first sale he ever made was to a Babylonian. So he's been in the business a long time. But really, the reason why my belief in the Grosso system was instilled at an early age in my career is because I came into this industry with absolutely zero sales experience. As a matter of fact, one call closing replacement windows here in Madison, Wisconsin was the first sales opportunity I ever tried. So I was leaning heavily on the step selling process because frankly, I had no clue what I was doing. And going through the training class and just learning the step-by-step system, and I've talked to you about this before, but I always like thinking of it like as a paint by numbers system.
Right.
I closed my first 7 deals in a row, and my confidence is radiating. In my first 3 years in a row in this business, I shattered every record my company had in sales, became the first multi-million-dollar producer, was salesman of the year 3 consecutive years.
Wow.
And then I had the opportunity to do what I was truly passionate about, is being a sales leader. So it's always been a dream of mine, is to be able to lead a team and grow a team. And I became so passionate and almost like borderline obsessed with mastering this Grosso system. I knew that if I could get my hands on the steering wheel and lead a team and grow a team and train them on the system, that we could do a lot of damage. And I'm really grateful to say, you know, the team that I built is arguably one of the highest performing sales teams in the history of this business. As a matter of fact, Heidi, in my tail end of my career, when I was managing Wisconsin's largest adult daycare center, as I was referred to, I had about 55 salespeople.
Wow.
And we had a cumulative closing percentage of over 50%. That was the average. I had some 70, some 65% closers. It got to the point where if you were doing $2 million a year, you're at the bottom of the leaderboard. If you wanted to be recognized as a top performer in my team, it was more like 3.5, 4 million was kind of at the upper echelon. And then of course, some $5 million reps. But it's just crazy what you can do with the right sales foundation.
Yeah.
The right methodology, and of course, just having that never-ending desire to continue to want to improve and sharpen the axe, raise the bar year after year. But that's kind of how I, made my career as a sales leader. And then, of course, the Grosso University transition. When I first got recognized as Salesman of the Year, we actually had a really fancy dinner. It was actually at a Ruth's Chris. Which at the time I wasn't that financially well off. And Ruth's Chris was like, oh my God, the first time I've ever been to somewhere so nice, right? And Rick Grosso was there. He was actually a surprise guest. I didn't know he was going to be there in person. And to me, this guy was like a celebrity or like a legend I've always wanted to meet. And he's wearing his fancy gold Rolex watch and his really fancy shirts and ordering $300 bottles of wine like doing nothing. And he's talking about his life and his lifestyle and his career. And it was that moment, I guess it was in 2011 when I was getting recognized as Salesman of the Year. I made a promise to myself that I didn't want to just master his training. I wanted to take over his legacy.
Yeah. Wow.
So that journey, it's like, we call it the power of the made up mind, but essentially it was such an emotional experience for me. I kind of like rewired my brain and made that burning desire, that definite worthwhile goal. And that was literally the driving force of everything I did there. Because I knew if I was going to have a shot at taking over this guy's legacy, that I needed a case study I could point to. I obviously needed to prove myself. And that's what I always thought about every single day as I'm training and coaching. And of course, that opened up the door for this opportunity. And when I threw the offer out to Rick Grosso, because it was in 2019, he announced he was doing his last ever training event. I went right up to him. I said, I'm taking over your legacy. I didn't even ask permission. He's like, I couldn't think of anybody more qualified.
Wow.
So that was kind of the inception of it all. And of course, here we are now with opportunities working with some of the largest networks of contractors in the world. And it's honestly a dream come true for me. This is what I've been aspiring to do for a long time.
That is so inspirational. I love that. I am a huge proponent of visualization also. Visualizing what you want to do, where you want to be. And that's just an awesome story. Thank you. That's really cool. So today, let's talk about today. So from the point that you took it over, Grosso University, you have added so much. I mean, the technology, everything that goes into this, great coaching, great coaches. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So our slogan here at Grosso University, we basically say it's legendary training for the modern world. And I came up with that a long time ago. I was trying to think of how could I describe, what it is that we do, because of course we have the legendary foundational training of Rick Grosso, but we're also not training things that once worked 40, 50 years ago, right? Because if you're not evolving quickly in this business and really taking advantage of all the tools and technology we have, you're going to get steamrolled. So we figured out this delicate way where we can keep the same foundational sales training that has always been there, but evolve it in such a way where we're never training anything that works in theory. So that's something that I would never tolerate. And that's something, frankly, I can't stand, is when people are out there training sales professionals or owners or sales leaders on what maybe worked 20 years ago, but it's theoretical. It's not what is working in the trenches today with the top performers in the country. So what is it that a $5-6 million producer is doing today to have such
works?
Replicatable and predictable levels of success. Yeah. And those are the things we do to keep evolving. And of course, embracing this new era of technology that we're in and knowing how to integrate that technology with the art of the sale and sales psychology. It's obviously a delicate balance, but that's something that I feel that we've really mastered. And we've talked about this before also, but we like to be trailblazers and kind of pursue uncharted territory and do things that have never been done before. And that's something that I'm truly passionate about. And that's how we really got put on the map in this industry in a very short period of time, is we're willing to take on things and essentially get involved with projects that a lot of people simply would never touch. And those are the things that get me the most excited, honestly, is having the opportunity to do what's never been done before. So.
That's how I feel all the time. I mean, that's really where the coffee shop and now Metal Coffee Shop, all of that came from, because I feel the same way. If we aren't evolving, we're going backwards, right? Yeah. And there's so much, in-home sales that's changing. It's changing in personalities, in the generations, on how people are buying, on what they're doing, what they want to buy. And I think that's really goes to the point of what's happening in the metal industry and metal roofing industry. And you have just taken that by, you guys have taken it by the steering wheel and driving it so crazy to take it to that next level. So let's talk a little bit about metal roofing, because traditional in-home selling for the home improvement industry has been more windows, siding, asphalt shingles. And now you're bringing training to contractors to help them actually start selling a premium product of metal roofing.
Yeah, and that's really been my specialty my entire career, is basically educating sales professionals and companies on how to sell a premium product at the right margin. Because, if you're in the business right now of selling on price and order taking, you're simply not going to be able to make the right margins to stay in business long term.
Right.
And, selling metal, following a step selling sales methodology, profitably selling on value in terms of the industry is definitely a new thing. But the good news is, for me, it's not. So the good news is, like, throughout my entire career, I have a lot of experience building presentations for stone coated steel, for metal shingles, for standing seam, obviously enclosed or exposed fasteners, you name it. I've already built sales professionals and sales systems selling these products with wild levels of success. And throughout my entire career, the big roadblock has always been installation.
Yeah.
So it was the same playbook over and over. Basically, we would get this new roofing system introduced to our company. I would train my sales team how to sell it in the home. We would go out there, absolutely dominate the sales board, selling this left and right. And all of a sudden we'd have this 8-month backlog in production. It was like, okay, then we have to time out. We can't sell anymore until we figure out how the heck we're going to install all this stuff.
Yeah. Your production is all like, what are you doing?
Right. And that's why when I first got involved in this program, this MetalVue, that was one of the first questions I asked. I said, I'm confident I can train on how to sell this stuff. I've done it many times and the results are very easy to predict. However, what are your plans to get contractors the tools to install the stuff?
Right.
That obviously can demoralize a company and a sales team very quickly, is if they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing, but yet they hit this roadblock of installation. So that's why when I heard that contractors have the support, not just in lead gen and sales, but also in the back end of the business, then I'm like, okay, I'm all in. We're going to make this the greatest thing that's ever been created in the metal roofing industry. And we're going to teach these companies how to absolutely dominate the sales board. I can kind of do it, like, unleash what I truly would want to do to create literally the most dynamite sales army this industry has ever seen. But that was kind of my history. And that's why building this out, it was not foreign to me whatsoever. It wasn't like I'm dabbling into an industry that I've never dabbled into before, or creating a presentation for a system. And, having the resources available that MetalVue is offering has just made this so easy for everybody. And the willingness of the participating manufacturers to make the investment for their networks, it's just been phenomenal. So
yeah, well, and let's talk a little bit about that, because you are helping with some videos, some education on installation too. I know you're working with John Sheridan, who we brought in, and John is doing tons of this installation training. But I really was excited when your Metal Roofing Academy, right? That you put something together that's for everybody who comes into MetalVue. It doesn't matter which manufacturer they're with, but they have this opportunity to really learn through this course. Maybe tell us a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, one thing I say often is I'm a huge fan of under-promising, over-delivering. Yeah. So when we first started talking about building this Metal Roofing Academy, we talked about creating a couple sales training videos that would help contractors and sales professionals alike at least have a better understanding on how to build value and properly sell metal roofing in the home. So that's what we talked about in the beginning. And it was like maybe 3 to 5 educational videos just to give them kind of an overview as to how to do this. And after we kind of agreed to move forward, what I ended up doing is creating pretty much like a 25 video training series, the most detailed video courseware I've ever built in the history of my life. Wow. And I kind of, it's like lay it all out in the field type of endeavor. But I knew that it was important that we did it that way because I wanted salespeople to have, through video and through the book, I got the book right here.
Yeah.
It's the Roofing Academy. It's like a 180-page Bible of in-home selling. Takes a salesperson through all the steps of the sale, the scripts, the methodology, even like the in-home presentation. I have scripts for the slides that they're going to be covering. So it's totally like paint by numbers. You know, here's the color with the right number. You can make masterpieces replicatable and duplicatable. But literally from the moment they wake up in the morning to the moment they close the sale, everything in between, I wanted them to have access to the training on everything that they would need to make a long-lasting career in sales selling metal roofing. And there's a lot of mindset motivational stuff in there as well.
Yeah.
Because, I always say the most important sale any salesperson has to make is selling themselves to themselves. So in the beginning of the sales process, when I'm training, I'm focusing heavily on getting these salespeople to open up their minds to their true potential, what they're truly capable of, and get them to reflect inwardly on themselves and believe in themselves and what their talents are, what they're capable of. And if you have that deep rooted belief in yourself and you're head over heels sold on yourself, it's a lot easier to influence others to be sold on you. Okay.
So true. So
But
true.
if you're not radiating that confidence and that belief in your company, yourself, and your products, you're not going to have a lot of success radiating that over. So we begin a lot with mindset motivation, but then just get into the meat and potatoes of it all. When you knock on the customer's door, what's the scripting? What's the door approach? How do we do that? How do we gain entry?
Yeah.
How do we overcome the curveballs that could be thrown at us occasionally? You knock on the front door and the customer throws you a curveball. They try to cancel it. Do you have program responses and rebuttals in your holster readily available so you're not shooting from the hip and making things up as you go? Wild, wild west, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once you sit at the table, how do we set the tone for the meeting? How do we keep them comfortable and relaxed? The types of questions I ask, keeping the spotlight on them, making them feel special. How do I build trust and rapport? How do I do it?
Right.
How do I get the prospects' emotions, get them emotionally involved in the conversation, make them enjoy the experience, even the little things like injecting humor deliberately to make this entertaining.
Right.
So we go through all that stuff. So the salesperson, once they learn this, they literally can go into a house, and I'm not even exaggerating, you put the cruise control on and you ride it, and you can literally be at that unconscious competent level of sales where you're coming out with the outcome you desire more often than not without having to think about it anymore. So that's the long-term goal, what we want. So my goal as the trainer then, and obviously writing all this stuff, is giving them all the tools they need so they can get to that level.
And I think so to that point, I think this is so important because being in sales for a lot of my career myself, you have to believe not just in yourself, but you have to believe in your product. Yes. You have to believe in what you're delivering. And I think what's kind of groundbreaking about this is in the past, a lot of people have just kind of waited for customers to call who wanted a metal roof, right? So they just want a metal roof. Now you are teaching companies to go out there and present. They may have said they have some interest in an asphalt shingle roof, but now you're presenting a product that's going to last forever for them, for their home, durability, sustainability, all of the things that go with a metal roof. So to me, that seems like that just makes it even builds the confidence of those salespeople even more, even though it tends to be most likely will be a premium buy, but it's what's right for the home and what's right for that homeowner.
Yeah. And that's where companies are going to be able to take their business to the next level is they're going to see when the salespeople are properly trained, they're going to be able to obtain a lot more incremental business, not just from the metal clients, but also selling asphalt customers on metal. Yeah. And there's an art form to that, right? You got to be able to do it in a very eloquent way. Obviously, you're not here to badmouth any solution, but you got to make the features and benefits and the peace of mind and all the great things that come with metal so undeniable and so desirable that the customer is more than willing to pay the little bit extra initially to get that peace of mind long term versus settling for a lesser expensive roof that maybe they're having to do again in the future.
Yeah.
So you want to build a lot of value. And of course, there's a lot of sales strategy to influencing them to invest in the last roof they'll ever need and doing it willingly and actually just being enthusiastic about doing it.
Yeah. And doing the right thing, the right thing for your home and for the thing. So one of the things that I have also just really loved about your program is your jumpstart. I just think it makes so much sense to me, having run a sales team before, and it's always that onboarding of salespeople. You want to have the system, like you said, but sometimes that gets hard with your sales folks. So tell us about what you're doing with Jumpstart and how that's making such a difference on the onboarding and training.
Yeah, so when I was a sales leader, I learned a lot of things through trial and error, right? And I was kind of in that position where all the presentations, all the workbooks, all the scripting, I built from scratch on my own time. And obviously the most valuable thing we have when we're owners and leaders is our time. So you try to quantify, if you have an owner or a manager or someone in an executive position spending hundreds of hours trying to build all this stuff out, it's insane how much money that's costing you. And one thing that I saw right away as a need when I first got into as a trainer and consultant of the business is a lot of people needed help building presentations. Because one of the worst things contractors can do or sales organizations can do is get out there and start selling without first establishing that rock solid foundation. I call it the sales foundation. For example, have you ever been to the Sears Tower in Chicago, the Willis Tower?
Oh yeah, beautiful.
So you look at the Willis Tower, the foundation of that building is 100 concrete cylinders going 100 feet underground. It's about 2 million cubic feet of cement. All right.
Wow.
So now that seems like a lot, but if you think about it, it only goes 100 feet underground, yet the building is 1,450 feet tall.
True.
Now, obviously you have that beautiful tall building. Now, what happens to that beautiful building if the foundation crumbles? Right. Or if you strip the foundation away, the building doesn't stand. And that's where I see a lot of people, they're trying to build all the sales revenue and volume, and they don't have that foundation. Eventually they hit a roadblock, and even worse, it implodes on itself. Because all of a sudden they just got 30 salespeople doing it 30 different ways, and there's no method of the madness, no accountability. So what we're doing is we're building that foundation of accountability and consistency that every salesperson can truly take the time to master, and they can also use it to hold their salespeople accountable to a certain measure of performance. Yeah. So when people come to us, a lot of times they don't have a workbook. They don't have an in-home presentation that the sales rep can demonstrate in the house. And even more importantly, they don't have the training on how to execute that. So what our Jumpstart program really is it gives that contractor really a jumpstart, or it's like a kickstart, and essentially something that would normally take them months and months to build, we can actually have our creative team at Grosso University turn that out in just a few weeks.
Wow.
So essentially, if you come to us and say, hey, I need a presentation for windows or for roofing or for metal, of course, or for siding, I have a whole creative team, and we have done this hundreds and hundreds of times to the point where we can turn around a masterful in-home presentation for you in just a few weeks. We can create a custom workbook with all the scripting for you, branded to your company.
Nice.
And then we set up a virtual training with that contractor, with that sales team, a Zoom recording just like this. We record it just like we're doing now. And we take that whole sales team through every slide of the new beautiful in-home presentation, exactly how to go through it with a prospect. They keep that recording forever after as a means to train and onboard salespeople, or to keep their salespeople on track. That way, everybody has the presentation, the scripting, the video training series they need to be able to take this brand new, beautiful, masterful presentation and execute it properly in the house. Because it's very difficult, Heidi, for a new sales team to follow a new sales methodology if they don't have the tools that complement that, right? They don't have the presentation that also follows it, or the workbook or the training. So we wanted to make sure, and this is part of what we did with Sherwin-Williams, is we want to make sure that every contractor that onboards the MetalVue program already has that in-home presentation. Boom, you become part of MetalVue, here it is. Video training, you got the most comprehensive video training you can imagine, step by step from A to Z. It takes you through the whole kit and caboodle. You have the workbook with all the scripts, and literally it gets to the point, Heidi, and you've heard me say this before, you almost have to be creative to mess it up. It's almost like your salespeople have to go out of their way to make big mistakes. And that's the way you want it to be. We want to reverse the 80-20 rule. A lot of times in sales organizations, 20% of the salespeople make 80% of the money. So with the right foundation, the right system in place, you can reverse that and flip it upside down to where 80% of your sales team is successful and is predictable, is replicatable. Yeah. You can continue to build and grow off of that. So
I love that. And think about what that does for your business when you have 80% of your sales team performing. And one of the things I really like too is the fact that you really address the fact that everybody learns different. right?
Yes.
Some people have to read it. Some people have to hear it. Some people have to see it, or a combination of all of those things. And so with what you have between the book and between then being able to watch the video and the onboarding, whether it's to refresh themselves or with new hires, I love that. I think, we believe in that a lot here at the coffee shop, but everybody wants to learn a little bit different. And so being able to deliver that makes a huge difference for the company, especially for sustainability of the program.
Yeah, and that was my belief when I was a sales trainer is you could give me literally anybody, and I mean anyone, with the right attitude and work ethic. Those are my requirements. You have to have a good attitude and a good work ethic, and I could train you to be a multi-million-dollar producer.
Wow.
And I've done that so many times, Heidi, I can't even begin to tell you. People of all walks of life, even people that don't know anything about construction, never used a tape measure in their life, have English as their second language. They go through this training, and I had one guy, his first year did over 3 million in business, one of the most profitable salespeople we had, just because the attitude and work ethic was there, and they're following the system to a T.
Yeah, that's great.
It's just incredible.
That is so awesome. Okay, so let's talk about, we could go on. I love sales. I love hearing what you're talking about. So we could go on forever on this, but let's talk a little bit about, so all the contractors out there right now who are listening to this, who want to start selling more metal, maybe they're great metal roofing companies, but they want to up their sales game. How do they get involved with Grosso? And I guess the first step, as we all know, is get involved with MetalVue.
Yeah, MetalVue, a lot of people, they end up getting introduced to Mark McDonald and Chris Morris, and they're kind of like the godfathers at the at the front lines of it all. And I definitely would recommend reaching out to those people in the beginning. If you want like the best explanation of the entire MetalVue program and all the participating manufacturers in your area and the different technologies and tools and the different partners that are involved with it, they're literally at the front lines, really orchestrating the whole thing, orchestrating the choir, so to speak.
Yeah.
And in terms of Grosso University, if people want to get set up with us, of course, we got our website, grossouniversity.com. Otherwise, we got a really clever phone number. It's 888-GROSSO-U. That's GROSSOU. Because it is literally a university. We have a full online training platform with hundreds of hours of sales training content. Of course, if you're part of the MetalVue, you have all that MetalVue Sales Academy that's on there, metal roofing.
Yes.
But we also I've done numerous sales seminars. We call them closers camps. We have all those closers camp seminars on there. I have this, I think it's like a 30-hour sales training course that's on there, but it's Sales Academy. And that was a 2-week training course that we basically cropped down into a video training. So literally the most comprehensive sales training you're going to get anywhere. And then we have all the workbooks and collateral and supporting tools, pretty much anything you need at any stage. And my personal strong suits, of course, along with sales, is also helping people become better sales leaders. So I spend a lot of time working with sales leaders and business owners on really how to be the commander and navigator of their team that their team needs to continue to grow and thrive and have a healthy culture. That's one of the number one reasons people are going to like to work with you these days. And also one of the number one reasons you're going to leave is because of the culture of your team.
Right.
So really spending a lot of time with management coaching and consulting and training. So literally at any point, if you're talking about that sales platform, we have training for that. Now, I will say one thing I'm really proud of at Grosso University is we also have other resources available to companies if they need more help with lead generation outside of anything available here. If they need more help with even production operations, if they need help with call center development or digital marketing and advertising. So essentially, I've built a network of entrepreneurs, business owners. These are real people that are in the trenches making it happen every day. Again, to my point earlier, I don't like to talk about anything in theory. One thing I love doing is connecting contractors with the experts, the brightest minds in the business that are essentially masters at whatever they need help with.
Well, and let's just real quick talk about that. Your Agagi seminar and conference is coming up, and I said it wrong, didn't I?
The Agogi Summit.
Agogi, sorry.
You know what the Agogi is, Heidi? Do you know what the background of that story is? Okay, so now this right here, some people call me the necklace guy because I wear this thing a lot. This right here is our Spartan Warrior logo. That's what this is, a Spartan Warrior helmet. Because we train sales warriors and stuff like that. So now, if you go back in history of Sparta, the education system that those Spartans were brought up in was called the agoge.
Agoge, okay.
And essentially, it was from the time they turned 7 years old to the time they were 30. They obviously learned how to become professional warriors in combat. That was literally their education system, how to be the most, tenacious warriors in the history of mankind. That was their profession. That was their whole life. And so essentially we carried on that Spartan Warrior theme to our ownership events. We used to call it Owners Camp, but now it's called the Agoge Summit because it's literally taking that leadership to the next level. And I've said this before, but we want you to have all the resources and training you could possibly want, whether you want to work on your personal health and well-being, whether you want to work on your mindset, whether you want to work on anything from lead generation machine to sales machine to production operations, the processes, the procedures you need to run the most profitable, efficient business you can imagine. Yeah. We're bringing all the players to the table for this one event, to the Agoge Summit, and it's going to give you everything you need to be an exceptional leader, obviously to be in the right state of mind, take care of yourself physically and mentally, but ultimately show you how to build from the ground up the most profitable business you can imagine. So
I love it. And I'm going to be there. I'm so excited to see this and to be a part of it. MetalVue will be there with a table and talking about MetalVue and everything that's going on. So it's a great place for everyone who wants to get more information or do it. We have it actually, Metal Coffee Shop. We have it on our site. We have some free comp passes for the first 19 people. So if you're listening to this, get on Metal Coffee Shop. Go to the Grosso University directory and you will see it. You'll also see the ads on the homepage. So this is the chance to be able to go and really learn about what you do, Dom.
Yeah, and to your contractors that are watching this, it's important that you get out there and not just attend educational seminars, but start networking with other entrepreneurs like you.
Yeah.
And that's honestly one of the biggest values you're going to take away from this event is we're going to have well over 100 different companies of all walks of life, some absolute giants in the industry, some people that are up and coming, but you have so much opportunity to start talking and picking the brains of some of these bright entrepreneurs. And these events are more intimate. It's not like some of these seminars where there's 20,000 people. So you really start building relationships and getting contacts and connections. And on day 3 of the Agoge Summit, we're doing a golf outing because we're at golf capital of the country, Hilton Head Island. And it's going to be an absolute amazing time. Plenty of opportunities to really socialize and start forging those relationships. And you're going to have plenty of opportunity to, sit down with myself and all my other trainers one-on-one and just extract as much from this event as possible. Now that comp ticket that you guys are offering, that normally we sell for $1,500. And basically through this program, we're offering 19 comp tickets. So take advantage of that. Because as long as you can get your butt there, sit your butt in the seat, you're going to be able to take away useful information you can use to transform your business overnight. So
it's going to be great. I'm really excited for it. I'm excited. This whole program that you've put together with MetalVue, the training that's going on out there. I mean, this is exciting stuff, Dom. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing it and for being a part of Metal Coffee Shop and obviously us working together with the MetalVue.
No, we appreciate everything you guys have done. This has been an amazing, obviously, platform for us. And of course, your audience and your network. We're really excited to be able to work with you guys a lot more. And of course, anything we can do to support Metal Coffee Shop and of course, the whole MetalVue program, obviously, don't hesitate to ask. But
Oh yeah. We're going to be doing a lot together. It's going to be great.
Great long-term relationship here. And thanks for allowing me to be on your podcast. I didn't realize that obviously Metal Coffee Shop and of course, specifically Ruther Coffee Shop. I mean, talk about trailblazers, but you've been doing this for a long time. And we have quite the following now. And we're just honored to finally be a part of it and continue to grow the network.
We love having you. Thank you so much. This is, what you said earlier, I always am like, take nuggets away, but what you said earlier about you really have to take those risks and go out and find what's happening now and what's going to be happening tomorrow for your business. You are helping everybody do that. And that's what we believe into. That's our whole goal, is to help the contractors have successful businesses. So thank you. I'll be seeing you soon. We'll be down in Hilton Head. What's the dates again on the Agoge? Let's get that out there for everyone.
March 28th through the 30th. So
perfect.
March Madness, again, right before the real busy season. Come in, sharpen the axe, get all the tools and training you need. And of course, there's ongoing things we can continue to work with you on. But yeah, do yourself a favor, get the training to make this a record year. And we promise if you come to that event, this will be by far the most lucrative and successful year on record.
I love it. I love it. And so once again, thank you so much for being here, and we'll do it again. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you for being here, for watching, for seeing this, and being a part of Metal Coffee Shop. Be sure to go to Grosso University directory on Metal Coffee Shop. Get registered, go to the Agoge, find all the great stuff that they're doing, and really the MetalVue program and what Grosso has done with Metal Roofing Academy is amazing. So think about that. You can find all of that under the MetalVue program directory, and also with Sherwin-Williams. We will help you. It's phenomenal. So, and be sure to catch all of our MetalCast podcast video casts under our Read, Listen, Watch under the podcast, and be sure to subscribe and set your notifications on your favorite podcast channel so you don't miss a single one. And we will be seeing you next time on MetalCast.